This is your standard flow switch. Okay? You saw that with one of your risers. Sprinkler valve, main sprinkler valve shut off, and then water flows through the piping. This is the actual flow switch. The way this works, I'm going to show you inside. So this actually sits on top of the pipe. Okay? This sits inside the pipe. This here is actually marked 2 inches. So this is actually can go into a 2-inch pipe. There's when Brenda, if you could hold this just for a second, I'm going to show you something. So this particular flow switch can work on several different size pipes, depending on the pipe, be the size of the actual flat that's inside there. So now, how this works, of course, thank you. Okay, so if this is sitting on the pipe itself, depending on how you put this in there, you got to know which way water is actually flowing. If water's flowing this way, it's going to push that flap inside the pipe, okay? And then, which I'm going to show you now, also want you to know that these are what they call tamper-proof covers, okay? It's not your standard Allen wrench, but it's got a little hole in it, okay? Because if you look, and I'll show you when I take this off, it's got a little, well, I call it a little nipple inside there. That's what it's called. So anyway, you can pass that around so you can see, right? So, and you can use this to see what it looks like. So the hole is in there. So now, this is the innards of a flow switch. I'm going to explain to you how it works real quickly. This is a pneumatic assembly. Inherently, in just about every single water system, okay, you're going to have fluctuations in water pressure, and you're going to have ebbs and flows. Water's going to go in, water's going to come out. In the old days, when we didn't have pneumatics, these things actually, as soon as water flowed just a little bit, boom, this thing would click and send an alarm. Okay? This pneumatics allows us a timer, a delay timer, that from the time water is sensed to the time it activates switches and talks to the fire alarm system, it compensates for the ebbs and flows. And I'm going to show you. Here we have a dialer. This dialer can actually set the time it takes for from the time this starts to move to the time the switch activates. If I put this on 0, I want you to hear what it sounds like, right? With absolutely no time, if I had water flow, you hear that click? Boom, alarm starts sounding right away. Okay? And a lot of the pneumatics inside these flow switches, after time, they go bad. No matter how you dial this, the innards breaks. So if you start getting flow alarms repeatedly in buildings and you find yourself going out to the same, and man, it's wired, but inside it's a possibility that the innards are broken and the pneumatics doesn't work. So now what you can do, I'll just show you. I'm just going to dial this over to the first notch. Now watch what happens, right? If anybody has a stopwatch, you can time it or do a timing in your head. Water starts to flow, okay? You can see that there's a lever on, I'll show you the lever on top here. The pneumatic starts to bleed out, so to speak. And then, did you hear the click? Boom. So that was probably about maybe 10-15 seconds. So the more I dial this clockwise, the longer that delay is going. In my facility here, I set everything for 30 seconds. Okay. Now it's very important to have that because, especially with a building that has a fire pump and a jockey pump, that jockey pump, like we described in the class, right, comes on and it turns off, and there's always inherent pressure changes and leaks in the system, and the jockey pump is what actually keeps that static pressure on there. Well, when that jockey pump comes on, well, it's pressurizing the system, and it could actually push water regularly into the piping. Hopefully, jockey pump doesn't stay on for 30 seconds, right? Most of the time, they don't. But this compensates for that, right? It stops, having that time delay stops any kind of water that's flowing through here from activating nuisance alarms, and you don't want that. We dial ours in all at 30 seconds, right? If I just dial this to the next one, it's about 15 seconds up, which you'll see. So I just want you to see, there's a lever right here. Can everybody see that lever, right? As I'm pushing this, right? So, and I'll tell you a funny story after this. So, you push that, it's going to be 30 seconds, it's going to seem like a lifetime, right? But that's what actually stops nuisance alarms in this building. I set all of our flow switches for 30 seconds. So from the time the sprinkler head activates and water starts flowing, this thing, it's going to take 30 seconds before the micro switch clicks and the fire alarm senses it and sounds all of the fire alarms. Okay? 30 seconds. Sounds crazy, but you're allowed to. Up, do you hear it? Click. Okay, there it was, about 30 seconds. So, I used to have a demo set up with this. I used to have my little 9-volt battery on here with the wires and a little piezo buzzer. And I used to go over to the fire department, show them how this stuff works. I was up on the 3rd floor one day, and I had it just like this, but with the battery and everything. And I was at the information counter, and somebody asked me a question, so I had set this down. And I walked over and I was telling them, hey, okay, this is where you have to go. So it was set for like 10 seconds, and then all of a sudden it just started going beep, 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 because I had the wiring and the battery set up to it, right? Because it hit the delay. So, they were just a few seconds from calling what they call a signal 55. What is it, 55?
55 alpha.
Alpha, bomb threat, So, no, that's me, right? So I had to take it off, and anyway, so don't ever walk around with something like this with wires and batteries and a buzzer these days, or you can find yourself getting in a whole lot of trouble. So, this is your standard water flow switch. Now, depending on the type of piping, will depend on the size of the flap. The bigger the pipe, the bigger your flap, right? So, but that's what we saw in the school on the tour, this water flow switch. It was sitting like this, up on the pipe as it went, and as water goes up, it just goes up, and the fire alarm senses it. Any questions on that? Pretty simple, right? But that's how a water flow switch works. Okay? Now, so there's no questions on that. I know I sent this around in class. Okay? We're actually going to activate one over here, and then I'm going to make you guys reset it, so that you guys know when you're out in the field, if you got a key, how this actually operates. You're going to have to open this, reset the key, and you guys are going to be calling in, hey, can you please reset this? I'm going to let you guys do that. So the online class, though, you guys didn't get to do this, did you? So, of course. So, the way these manual pull stations work, if you're not familiar with it, let me put this back together. Manual pull station is sitting on the wall, and it's got wires going to it that the fire alarm system is monitoring. It's monitoring this device. If somebody comes over here in an alarm, they have to lift and they pull. As soon as they pull that, there's a toggle switch inside here. Okay? That toggle switch, all it did was push that toggle switch up. When that toggle switch goes up, there's circuitry back here that the fire alarm system monitors, and it says, hey, I'm in alarm. And then it tells you exactly where the manual pull station is, because I've got a very smart system here. It'll tell you exactly where it is. The only way to reset this, to get the alarm to clear, okay, somebody has to come and reset the manual pull station, and then reset the fire alarm system. So as it's sitting here, the fire department would respond to this, because they have keys to this. They would come over, they would push the switch back down, put this back on, close that, take the key out, and then they would call the monitoring or our 911 dispatch center and say, manual pull station is reset, can you please clear the system and reset the system? They would send a reset to the system looks at it, says, yep, toggle switch is back in the right place, and all the alarms shut off. That's basically how it works.
And depending upon where all the kids are, it's usually where they get pulled.
99 out of 100 times, there are kids running around. Okay? But there was a time where there was construction around and somebody pulled it. We didn't know who it was, but there was a camera in the area, and the camera was broke. And I was fuming, and I'm being recorded, so I'm not going to swear. So I wanted to find out who did it. They wouldn't tell me. And I said, well, here's what's going to happen. That camera up there recorded this. Now, if you guys fess up Before I find out who that is, we'll just go lenient on it. Until then, all your badges are going to be revoked if I find out. By the time I got into the con center to pull up the camera that's broke, didn't see anything. I got like 10 phone calls. It was him! They threw the guy under the bus. So it was the best thing. I love this place. You know. I'm a good poker player. So. Now, duct detectors. Remember how we talked about... Now, the online course, probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to tell you this. In the online course, when you guys went through the tour, you saw one of these devices sitting on a duct. Okay? Okay? This thing, it's okay, was sitting inside a duct. And the test answer said a damper switch. That was wrong. Duct detector. Smoke. Okay, we corrected it. Okay. And actually, if you read this, which I don't have my glasses on, but it's upside down. So I think it's upside down.
Would you like me to read it?
No, I
got
want to
my
do this.
glasses
I'm
on.
determined. We'll go ahead and read it now. What does that say?
It's in a whole nother language. Fire alarm system duct smoke housing. That's I don't know what language that is.
Yeah, and I can't speak it. So, but it says right on it.
Or
that
read
it's
it.
duct housing. It's not a damper. Now, I want you guys to understand how this works and the nuances of a duct detector. Okay. A duct detector is basically a smoke detector. Okay. This is a smoke detector that could actually be out in the open here. Right? It's out in the open. It's just a regular duct detector. Now, this is a photoelectric smoke detector. This sits inside this housing. Now, I got you guys paperwork.
Not
Everybody take one and pass it around, because I want you to be able to see for yourselves how this thing actually works, because that's the cut sheet for this and the specifications. And I'll explain how this works. Oh, it's double-sided, so it'll tell you exactly how this thing works. All right, so it'd be kind of difficult to do this without it standing around. Let's just pretend the duct is going this way. Okay, the duct would actually be going this way. This is sitting in the duct, and airflow is this way, and you'll actually be able to see that on the sheet. Here's what happens, okay? This is called a sampling tube, okay? This goes pretty much the length of the duct. Now, after a duct gets so wide, it's required that the tube extends past and through the actual duct so you can see it, okay? Here's what happens. Based on pressures, okay, and the way the air flows through this, okay, as air flows through this, the difference in this opening and inside these little samplings, it creates, as air is passing through, it creates a suction that will bring in the air through this chamber and back out. This is the exhaust portion. This is the exhaust. So it's going to be going in through these holes, out through here. Now, and I'm going to show you one that's taken apart right over here. We're going to put it in alarm so you can actually see how it actually works. This, sitting inside this chamber, that air that's flowing through the sample tube out here is actually going to be sampled by this smoke detector that's inside that housing. If it actually senses that there's smoke inside the duct due to some large fire, it will sample this. This will go into alarm, okay? And this is actually monitored by the fire alarm system, by other modules and some wiring. But it is a duct smoke detector. It's a regular smoke detector that just happens to be inside a duct housing designed to sample the air going through the air handler unit. Why would we want to sample air going through an air handler unit?
Because if there's smoke going through it, you want the dampers.
Okay, dampers could be activated. Or we don't want to let the smoke go to another area. It could be a big air handler unit that's picking up air somewhere and delivering it somewhere else, right? So we want to shut that unit down also, so we don't propagate smoke, right? So it really depends on the systems involved that you have in your facility will determine what will happen when this duct detector goes into alarm. Some of them will just shut the unit off. Some will shut the unit off and talk to the fire alarm system that will actually activate other things. Close other dampers, right? Activate other fans. So that's how this actually works. Any questions on this? We're going to activate one of these in a mechanical room over here so you can actually see it activate. So any questions on this? So that, now, big problem. You have to have air flowing through this, okay? One of the biggest things that inspectors don't do is look inside the duct to make sure that the holes are pointing in the right direction. If the holes aren't in the right direction, this thing is useless, right? If this is pointing in the wrong direction. If you're not getting airflow, this thing is useless, right? After about a month or two, do you ever look at one of your air filters inside your house? You have to clean it every month or replace it. Well, you know what? These are very small holes. Guess what gets clogged up inside there? And the more they get clogged, the less sampling you have, right? You got to have a good program together to actually look at these.